Awesome. You guys, thank you all for joining us this afternoon. It's a pleasure to have you. I'm super excited that you all were able to make it out today. I'm Kathleen Levitt. For those of you that I have not met yet, I am the new president and CEO of the Spanish Fork Chamber of Commerce, and I am happy to be here. And I'm going to turn things over now to Wendy Osborne from Tabitha's Way Food Pantry.
Thank you everyone for coming today. It's so fun to see all of your faces today. Many of you I know, but there's also some new people here, so welcome. So today I've wanted to provide a presentation to the Chamber in regards to how community engagement drives employee retention and attraction and actually affects your bottom line for your business. However, we're going to go a little bit out of order today. One of the nonprofits I asked to come speak today has another presentation she's going to be doing today, and she's a dear friend of mine, and I've asked her to come and speak. So I've asked Jessica Farnsworth to come up and just do a quick presentation on 100 Women Who Care. 100 Women Who Care Utah County is an organization that I've been involved with, feel very passionate about. I love giving. I'm involved in a nonprofit, but it is a great organization that's doing great things for many nonprofits, and that's how I found out about 100 Women Who Care. So Jessica, come on up. But she is the founder for the Utah County chapter of 100 Women Who Care. Love her deeply and just love what she's doing. So I'm going to let her go ahead and share, and I'm going to take over the slide deck for right now.
Awesome. Thank you, Wendy. Hello, it's great to be here with you. Thank you so much to Wendy, my good friend, and also Kathleen, my new friend from the Chamber, for inviting 100 Women Who Care Utah Valley in to share today with you all. I am a Spanish Fork resident. I'm out from Lakeshore, so it's great to be here amongst friends, and thank you for all you do for our community. Just so you know, this microphone is exclusive to the camera, so it's why you're not hearing it in the room. But thrilled to share with you a little bit about who we are, what we do, why we exist. We are actually a pass-through organization. We don't have a bank account. We're essentially like a giving circle. And we were founded just about 4 years ago. I am one of the co-founders. And we're able to work with Tabitha's Way, I think our second year in. And I'd like to share with you kind of our origins, the way we work, the way you might be able to want to get involved, and I'll do so in 5 minutes or less, because that's what I've got. So a little bit of background about the origins of 100 Women Who Care. There was a woman named Karen Dunnigan out of Michigan, and in 2006, she saw a need in her community at that time. There was a lack of appropriate bedding and cribs for infants, for newborns, and was actually contributing to illness and some other serious problems for infant health and health care. So she thought, we've got to be able to do something about this as a community. Essentially, she reached out to 50 to 100 of her good friends and said, what can we do to solve this problem? She gathered them all together, presented kind of the need, and within 1 hour, each of them decided to give $100, and they had over $12,000 in order to direct at this need, and were able to provide dozens and dozens of cribs for families and children in need at that time. So from there started this 100 Who Care Alliance. And today, the 100 Who Care Alliance has over 800 chapters globally. It is inclusive. There's 100 Women Who Care, 100 Men Who Care, 100 Kids and Teens Who Care. The way that we work, we have a chapter up in Salt Lake City. I actually started with that chapter about 7 years ago as one of their founding members, is that we meet 4 times a year, every 3 months. The intent is to get to 100 members, where each member commits to donating $100 every 3 months to a local charity. Now, how do we pick that charity? We require that they be a 501c3 nonprofit, formal, that they come to our meeting and present for just a few minutes. We actually hear from 3 different local nonprofits. We learn about their mission, how they were founded, how they are funded, and exactly how, if they won our Impact Award, how they would direct the funds and who they would be serving. And so after we hear from them each for 5 minutes, we do a Q&A, a quick Q&A, and then we vote. So everybody who comes to the meeting gets a vote, and then we all give $100. And so the intent is to crowdsource $10,000 every 3 months to a local charity, and really be able to make a significant impact to an organization that's making an impact in our community and thus serving our community members without having to have very deep pockets in order to participate in philanthropy. So it's been a wonderful movement. We actually have a couple of local business sponsors that have chosen to kind of sponsor our runner-ups, because there's always two that don't win the award. And so everybody walks away with something. It's really inspiring, as Wendy can probably attest to. Tabitha's Way actually won the Impact Award, I think one of our 5th or 6th awards, and thrilled to be able to work with her. And then we also serve as boots on the ground after these sessions. So for instance, if Tabitha's Way is in need at a particular moment, we'll get an email out to our membership base and say, hey, here's what Tabitha's Way needs right now. This is what they're short in. They need volunteer hours. Here's how you do it. And they'll jump in and be able to serve. So not only is it a great way to raise money and crowdsource funds, but it's a wonderful way to educate members of our community so they know what resources are out there. We often have our charities talking to each other, saying, hey, my clients could use your resources, and vice versa. So it's a wonderful synergy. This is just a handful of the organizations that have won our Impact Awards locally here. And included since then has also been an organization called My Story Matters, Joyfully Read, which is a literacy promotion organization. And this last time, Aya Rises, and they support Latina youth and young women coming into leadership skills, development, and we actually, this particular initiative, they are developing an all-girls mariachi group to be able to integrate with community and keep a real sense of heritage and connection. So we need members, number one. We're about up to 80 members of 100 Women Who Care. We need steering committee members, and we need sponsors for anyone that would like to donate and give directly to the charities. So that's a little bit about us, how we work, and if you want to be inspired, come check out one of our meetings. Our next upcoming meeting is November 2nd, 11:30 a.m. up at the Sapria building in Lehigh. That's the Defend Innocence building right off the freeway. Sapria is one of our partners, but would love to partner with you. And just get to know anybody, answer any questions. If you have a charity that you promote or would like to be a part of one of our meetings, please reach out, let me know. Appreciate being here today. Thank you again, Wendy.
Thank you, Jessica. Appreciate it. So if you haven't been able to tell, there's an overarching theme about doing good to this meeting. So, in regards to doing good, it's like a lot of you are engaged in doing good right now in your community. There's great things that you guys can do, but there's also, as I was thinking about, there's things about doing good that maybe businesses should know, or maybe there's some things that you don't know that I wanted to share with each of you, and as in a means to help encourage more good and encourage everybody to keep going with what they're doing. So a couple of interesting statistics. One, in Utah, we had 62,000 people in Utah quit their jobs in March this year. 62,000 in Utah. That's how many people. So we're talking about how many people, the turnover that we're having in Utah. We're ranked 6th highest in the nation for turnover. Now, yes, we have a low, unemployment rate, but keep in mind there's a lot of change that's happening. And as businesses, we know how retaining or retraining employees or getting new employees. I think that's something that all of us are having heartburn over. Anybody who's running a business, that's a lot of work. So. So research shows that engaging in community and doing good is influential to building a good business culture. So why does that matter? So business culture speaks to, your company's identity, your company's image, and again, it goes back to that retaining and attracting the best talent for your organization. So, so identity is, who you are, what you do, how your company values. Your image is how you're perceived by consumers and your employees. So, and it builds your brand, that speaks to your brand loyalty. So, so a couple of interesting things, attracting and retaining talent. 72% of job seekers want to see details on your job description about your organization and what you're doing as far as good. 46% didn't apply to jobs because they didn't see that in the company's profile. So 90% of employees say that corporate CSR is corporate social responsibility. Work enhances their job and satisfaction overall and the feeling about their workplace. So a company doing good translates to an employee feeling good about their workplace and what they're doing. And then studies show that 50% lower staff turnover for companies that are engaged in corporate social responsibility. So, okay, company image. So again, coming back to that, so company image, how you're being perceived, 70% of consumers wanted to know that the brands that they're supporting are addressing social and environmental issues. So you're not just selling something to me in this community, what are you doing for your give back? Where's your give back? So consumers have a pulse on that, and they're determining what they're buying, who they're doing business with based off of this. So it matters to your business. 46% pay close attention to brand social responsibility efforts when they buy the product. So a couple of examples here. Dickerson Automotive, and these are just a few. And I apologize, there's so many of you that do good. Yay, congratulations. I couldn't fit you all on one slide, so I just picked a few. So Dickerson Automotive, for example, they do this thing where they actually take vehicles and rebuild vehicles and give them out to people in the community. Wonderful. That speaks a lot to their brand and who they are, how they care about their community, their give back. I think most of us all know Mountain Country Foods. If we were to list everything that they've done good, we'd be here all day. But they've done so much good within our community, so much in give back. They're a great example of what a good company is, and a good company is in regards to being a good community partner. Bella's Chop Shop, they received an award last year for providing haircuts to veterans, and so that brought a lot of attention to their brand and what they're doing. Triple T, for example, Triple T came out just a few weeks ago, a month ago or so, and they came and did Adopt a Pantry, and their whole company came out and sorted food at Tabitha's Way, did all kinds of things. They're engaged in a lot of good things. And so you don't have to be a big corporation to have an impact on your community and build corporate social responsibility. There's Qualtrics, Five for the Fight. There's a lot of good things, but as a smaller company, you can still be engaged in corporate social responsibility and doing things in your community. You don't have to wait to have a huge brand. It has a big impact. So in essence, what I'm saying is doing good, build a better culture, which attracts and keeps your best talent, which helps and leads towards customer satisfaction and loyalty, which leads to increased economic value for your business. So there's a direct translation in those things. 2, just keywords, corporate social responsibility, or another term is environmental social governance. Same thing, doing good is what those things are in short. So I have asked Scott Rasband to come today and speak a little bit about his organization and how they've engaged with Tabitha's Way. They've been involved since the moment Scott opened up. He reached out to us and said, we will have food, excess food we want to donate. So we've been picking up food from Chick-Fil-A since the beginning, since their doors opened. Scott has always reached out to us and said, what ways can we help support your organization? And recently they helped us receive a significant national award from Chick-fil-A that benefited Tabitha's Way financially. And in addition to that, just the notoriety that came from that. We were one of the 2 organizations for the entire Western region that received this award through Chick-fil-A. So it was quite significant, and Scott was involved in helping us achieve that. So Scott, will you come up and share a little bit about Chick-fil-A, your culture, and why you guys give back?
I'm Scott. How are you guys? I own the Chick-fil-A here in town. So we've been open 7 years. It's been a wild 7 years. Thank you for your business. You guys have been fantastic to us. So a couple things about community involvement and the impact on your business and things like that. So a couple things I want to say. Number 1, your foundation needs to be set. So if you have a business and you want to be involved in the community and you want to give, you've got to decide what your core values are, right? Do you have a mission statement? Do you have a purpose, right? If you don't have something that defines your business, you're going to be all over the place. And so I'm going to share some of Chick-fil-A's core values and some of the things we do there. The other thing that I would say is it needs to be genuine. So it needs to be something you really care about, right? And the other thing is it needs to be consistent. So if you're like, oh, we got this great idea, we're going to do this thing, and you do it once and you don't do it again, you're not going to have a reputation in the community of being a giver or serving or, you know, helping others. And so that's really, really important, okay? So I would argue that your chicken sandwich tasted better today because of your perception of Chick-fil-A, right? I like a Popeye's chicken sandwich. It's good, right? But do I associate them with continually giving and things like that? Or some people love Chick-fil-A that we're closed on Sunday. And they support us because of that, right? And so standing for something, having your values defined. So with Chick-fil-A, it all started with Truett Cathy. I don't know if you know who Truett Cathy is, but he's the founder of Chick-fil-A. He created the first boneless chicken sandwich, right? Started them in malls and grew the business. But he always said, we don't just sell chicken, it's all about people. And so everything we do is about people. And that's what our focus is. So Chick-fil-A's corporate purpose that guides all our values is to glorify God by being a faithful steward to all that is entrusted to us, and to have a positive influence on all who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. So everywhere you go in Chick-fil-A, you're going to see that purpose. When you go to the corporate headquarters, you walk in the building, and the first thing you see is a 6-foot statue of Jesus washing the disciples' feet, right? So what message does that send? It sends a message of servant leadership, right? Like, we're here to serve, okay? So Chick-fil-A's core values are, we're here to serve, we're better together, we're purpose-driven, and we always pursue what's next, okay? And when it comes to social responsibility, they've defined it as caring for people, caring for the community, caring for others through our food, and caring for our planet. So when I talk to my team, when I sit down with my team, I kind of go through a succession of things with them of, you know, are you able to care for the community, right? But if they can't care for themselves first, it's hard to care for the community. So we talk about, how are you doing yourself, right? Are you good? Like, how are you emotionally? How are you physically? Like, are you good, right? And if you can care for yourself, then you can care for your team. So those that are around you, those that you work with, you're kind, you're not easily offended, right? And you can serve your team. And then after that, you're prepared to serve the community. So at Chick-fil-A, we have 130 employees just at Spanish Fork location. And so our goal is to get every one of these people to be able to serve the community, right? But that comes through working with them first. So we invest a lot of time into our people. I personally don't make chicken. I don't make fries. Like, I can. Sabrina may say I can't. I don't know. But I just mentor people. I just talk to people. So my job as the owner is I go have conversations with team members and make sure they're good. Because if they're good, then they're going to serve you well. Okay? So Chick-fil-A's mission in COVID, during COVID, changed. They actually, you know, all the world was going through all this stuff, and they came up with this concept to become the world's most caring company. So that's what Chick-fil-A wants to be known for. So all of us as owners and operators, that's our goal, is to help you guys feel like that we're the world's most caring company, okay? So all of this leads to us doing outreach, right? So like all the stuff we've done with Tabitha's Way. So do you know how many pounds of food we've donated to you? Right? It's a lot. It's a lot. I think I got a plaque one year that said like 11,000 pounds, right? Yeah. So when we make a chicken sandwich, I don't know if you guys know this, if we don't serve, we have timers, and if we don't serve it within 20 minutes, we donate it because we don't feel like it's good enough for you to eat, okay? A lot of other restaurants would just let that sandwich sit there, right? And they'll serve it to you. You're going to get a cold sandwich. If it's not the right temperature and it's not the right time, it goes in a bucket and we give it to Wendy. So those are some of the things we do with Tabitha's. So we've done a lot of service projects, just, you know, and so, you know, every year we're just, I mean, you've got somebody coming in picking up food, is it 2 or 3 times a week? You know, and I'm kind of like, wow, that's a lot of wasted food. You know, like, can we not waste as much food? But it's also doing some good. So a lot of other things we do spirit nights. So Sabrina does all our marketing. Like, how many spirit nights do we do a month?
4 maybe 5.
Yeah, so like every week we're
About like 12, 13.
Yeah, so we're constantly raising money, giving money to sports teams, you know, people who've had medical issues. Like, I'm sure all of you have been to a spirit night at Chick-fil-A, and you know, and so all the profits from that night goes to the organization or whoever we're helping, right? And we're happy to do it. So what all this community engagement does for us personally is, I personally think it creates more revenue. Like, you guys come back more often, right? So I think instead of coming 3 times a month, you might come 4 times a month just because you like us, right? So, which that adds up very quickly. The other thing is, like Wendy mentioned it, retention. So I'm going to share some numbers that'll blow your mind. So the average McDonald's turns over their entire team 3 times a year, right? So think of like all the employee, like, so like every 4 months they have an entirely new team, right? So like, how do you run a business? You know what I mean? Like, how do you have consistency? How do you have systems? Like, it's really difficult, right? So ours is still really high. We have a lot of turnover, right? But we turn over our team about once a year, right? So we're 3 times better than the average, right? But that allows us to create some consistency, you know? And I think a lot of that is because when people come to work for Chick-fil-A, they feel like there's a purpose. They feel cared for. Like, the owner will sit down with them and get to know them and ask them what their goals are. And with half the people I sit down with, I say, my goal is to get you out of this restaurant into something better, right? So they truly feel cared for. There's only so many positions that are career positions in a restaurant, right? So, but then we have people who've stayed for a long time. Sabrina's 4-year mark this week. She's been fantastic. She does a lot of great work for us, and we have a lot of people who have stayed a long time, right? But the general work, you know, 115 of our 130 are just going to rotate, right? But if we can keep them longer, we're going to be better, and they stay because they feel like their work is impactful.
So how are your employees so nice? Like, yeah, everyone's serious.
Right?
Do you screen them? I mean, how do you just hire the nice ones?
So the first thing I would say is, this goes into hiring too, like our reputation. The Burger King guy doesn't come apply at Chick-fil-A because he might be like, I'm not sure I'm going to fit in. I know they have high standards. They're going to make me work. So there's that, right? So honestly, like, half of it's cut out, right? We usually get really good applicants. And then we look for core 4. So when we interview anybody, we look for, do they create eye contact? Do they share a smile? Do they speak enthusiastically? And can they connect with the heart? If they can do that, we'll hire them, right? So that's kind of our filter, right? You guys can steal that, that's fine. But it works, it's really good. It's really good, right? Because if you're interviewing somebody and they're looking out the window, right? Are they gonna be good with a guest on a register, right? And I can't tell you how many people come to me and tell me, like, this employee, like, they were so nice and they sat and listened to me. And, you know, a couple weeks ago, there were a bunch of guys in the dining room and they're in ties, and one of my leaders was like, hey, what are you guys doing? You know, and they're like, and they had just gotten back from their brother's funeral, right? So through this leader talking to them, they were gonna take food to the rest of the family. My leader just comped all their food, bought all the food for the rest of the family. I have no idea this stuff's going on, right? But this is the stuff I want going on, right? They're hugging, they're crying in the dining room, right? That's the kind of stuff that is impactful. So anyways, thanks.
Thank you again, Scott, for everything you do in our community, and all of you that are doing good in our community. I have been in this business for 12 plus years, and I will tell you that I have been so surprised again and again to hear some of the stories and some of the things that people are going through. They're going through very hard times. Right now, inflation is impacting everyone. We're seeing more families coming in and a lot less food donations coming in. Hold a food drive. That's something you can do. We do ask you to register your food drive for us so that we know that you're doing a food drive and that we can plan to receive the food when you come. So you don't show up with 1,000 pounds of food and nobody's there to help you unload it. So register food drive. You can do that on our website. A day of service at our pantry. Like I said, Triple T recently, their whole team came over. They sorted food. They served clients. It was a great way for their business to have just more connection, camaraderie, doing good. And it was like all smiles, and they were all there like, what else can we do? I'm like, okay, great, there's some more projects over here. I was like, so it was just wonderful to see their whole team there and their whole company just really enjoying one another and then doing good in the community. Another thing is we are trying to build what's called a no hunger zone in our community. I have a vision that there will be a day that when we drive into Spanish Fork City, there's a sign, welcome to Spanish Fork City. We are a no hunger zone, meaning our community has resolved to have a solution to food insecurity in our community so that no one goes hungry. I have a goal of getting an additional 100 committed donors for our food pantry by the end of this year. That's my goal. So that's my hope. And again, so that's helping with food, volunteering, providing funds. We need all three of those things. Food pantries need all three of those things. And so if you can, please donate. If you can commit to donating monthly, whatever that amount is for your business or for your family, please do. If that's not something you can do, maybe you can, we had a family just this past weekend that went out to Smith's. They saw our post on Facebook and they went to Smith's. They stood outside of Smith's for an entire day and gathered, what was the poundage? Basically, I don't know if everybody knows what a Gaylord is, but it's a box. It's a metal box. It's like 4 by 4 by about 3.5 feet tall. They filled 4 of those, and then they filled 2 additional plastic tubs full of food. Just the 3 of them. They just decided, we're going to take a Saturday. We're just going to go out there a whole day and do this. And and then they packed it into 2 cars that were the size of a Prius. So that was pretty amazing. But I was just absolutely astonished at what they did. So hopefully read those stories so you can kind of, again, understand our why, understand that we have people in our community that are struggling. But there's great ways that you can help and get involved. Lillian left her card on everyone's lunch to say, hey, get a hold of us if you want to do something. And again, I just want to say thank you for the support we have received. We would not be here if it wasn't for the support that we've had in our community. I love living here in this South County area. I think we are just the best place to live, and I'm so happy to be here, so thankful for your help, because we wouldn't be here without the help of our community, and specifically our Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber has been just so wonderful in supporting Tabitha's Way. So I will just give a little plug for the Chamber and say you cannot buy the exposure that you get from anything else that you do from a Chamber membership. So join the Chamber. So that's it. That's all, right? And like Scott said, that's a wrap.